What is up, guys? So the Arrowverse has actually introduced a lot of superheroes this season. Most of them are unknown superheroes. Actually, almost all of them were, and also most of them were from Earth X, but either way, we were still introduced to a couple gems that I'm going to be going over in this video, which is the top 5 best new Arrowverse superheroes introduced this season. The heroes that weren't included in the top 5 include Saturn Girl, because we technically haven't seen her in her costume yet, or using the code name, or even using her powers, so I didn't include her just because we haven't seen Saturn Girl yet. We've seen Imra Ardeen, just not Saturn Girl. Zari has interesting powers, but I like the fact that she uses the wind totem, but at the same time, she's annoying as hell, so I didn't include her on the list. Guardian X, because we barely saw him, but the minute we did see him was pretty cool. And then the rest of the Freedom Fighters, which we saw in the Freedom Fighter cartoon, which is Phantom Lady, Black Condor, Dollman, Vibe X, and also the Ray of Earth X. Because we barely saw them, we did not see them enough, so I didn't include them on the list. Alright, so let's get into the top 5, starting with number 5. Number 5 is Red Tornado. Now, we didn't see much of Red Tornado, and I guess he didn't really have a personality, but that one fight scene we did see him in was so cool, and he looks amazing. Just compare the Earth X Red Tornado with the Earth 38 Red Tornado, which is the crossover Red Tornado, with the Supergirl Red Tornado that was in Supergirl Season 1. The difference is staggering, and it kind of blows my mind. Now, you might think that Red Tornado isn't technically a superhero because the only thing he ever did was fight the Flash and the Ray, and because he had no personality, so he's just a robot, he was just an android, a weapon. But on the Ray, he actually did have a personality, but the thing that gave him his personality was destroyed. I'm pretty sure it was destroyed, so that's why he didn't have a personality there. But he did have a personality on the Ray, so technically, he is a superhero. Also, the fact that he's just a member of the Freedom Fighters and he was about to blow up a Nazi army base, he is definitely a superhero. And the fact that he's a superhero and he looked amazing, both his CGI, the CGI for him himself, like the android, and also his powers look great. So that's why he lands at number 5 on this list.
I hate fire. Sweetheart?
Number 4 is Citizen Cold, aka Leo Snart. Leonard Snart's return to Legends of Tomorrow made me realize that the Legends were missing an ice-based villain, and Citizen Cold fills that role for now because he is leaving soon. Although he did say he will be open to returning in the future, which I thought he was going to leave forever, but it seems like he might return. But for now, he is returning. He is leaving forever, but right now, he definitely fills the role that the old Captain Cold left behind, of not having an ice-based hero on... Did I say villain before? I meant hero on the team. Citizen Cold is a more lighthearted version of Captain Cold, and he's a lot more cheesy, if that was possible. Well, I guess it is. I've said this before, but like the first time we ever saw him, he came out of nowhere, shot some Nazis with ice, and then made a super cheesy, stupid pun. He was like, "I never liked fire," and then just stood there with the stupidest, funniest smile I have ever seen in my life. It was hilarious. It's a pretty great first impression. And also, since it's been pretty cool seeing Captain Cold returning, or at least his Earth X counterpart, who is even more cheesy than Captain Cold already was, that's why he deserves a spot on this list.
On our way!
Number 3 is Caitlin Snow, aka Killer Frost. Now, you might be thinking that Killer Frost, and especially Caitlin Snow, is not a new character. Caitlin Snow has been around since Season 1 of The Flash, Killer Frost has been around since Season 3 of The Flash, and technically Season 1 of The Flash, when we saw the Earth 2 counterpart of Killer Frost in that Flash forward. But that's definitely true, but Killer Frost didn't become a superhero until Season 4. Up until Season 3, she was just medical support for the Flash, and then during Season 3, whenever she was Killer Frost, she was a straight up villain. But then she became a superhero in season 4, maybe an anti-hero, that's debatable. But let's not work on technicalities, she's a superhero. And I'd say she's a pretty cool superhero at that. The crossover is the main time we saw Killer Frost in action as a superhero. We saw her in that episode, the Girls Night Out episode, but like that was a bad episode and we barely saw her using her powers. So I'd say the crossover was the first time we saw her using her powers, and it was awesome. Like in the wedding scene, she had those ice blades that looked amazing. She also has the ice slide she uses all the time. That's like basically her specialty, and it looks really cool. The CGI for her ice looks really cool. I think if you're gonna take away anything from this video is that I like characters with ice-based powers. Like I like watching the ice-based powers. Also her powers, like the dual identity with like the Hulk type shtick, I thought that was pretty cool as well. All in all, Killer Frost was a pretty cool new hero, and I think she could probably replace Citizen Cold once he leaves as the Legend's main ice-based superhero. Number 2 is the Ray, aka Ray Terrell of Earth 1. Now, I didn't really like Freedom Fighters The Ray. You could find out why in the top right corner of the video. But spoiler alert, it wasn't because of the Ray himself. He was a pretty cool character in that short TV show. But we also saw a lot more of him in the crossover, and he was pretty cool in the crossover. Mainly because his powers looked amazing. Like his CGI had this cartoony thing about it, this cartoony effect. It looked like a cartoon when he was floating around and shooting beams. And I get how that can turn some people off just because it's cartoony, but at the same time for me it just looks so good. I love watching the cartoony effect for him, and that's the main reason he's on the list. I'd also give credit to the Freedom Fighters TV show because they actually showed more of the Ray's powers. Like he can turn into light, and then like he can evaporate kind of into light and then turn back into himself. I thought that was a really cool power that I don't think they showed it on the crossover, that either they missed out on it or they couldn't afford it because of the CGI restraints. But I thought it looked amazing in the crossover, and that power looked pretty cool in his own TV show. He's not number 1 because his personality, his character in general, isn't anything special. He's not a bad character, hence him being number 2. But he wasn't amazing either. It's really his interesting, cartoony, great looking powers that put him this high on the list, which brings me to number 1.
For the love of Jeff Goldblum, stop!
And number 1 is Ralph Dibny, aka Nothing Yet, because he hasn't gotten his Elongated Man name yet, but that's gonna happen in episode 12 because that episode is called The Elongated Night Rises. Because I mean, I don't know where they get that title from. It's not like it's a parody of any other movie in the same company, but that's definitely when he's gonna get his name and his new costume. Now, before I said I'm not gonna include Saturn Girl because we haven't seen her use her powers yet. She doesn't have a costume yet, and she doesn't have her name yet, or at least we've never heard it. But the difference is the Elongated Man has used his powers already, or Ralph Dibny rather. He already has used his powers a lot, and he has a prototype suit, so I'm including him. I'm considering him for this list, and he's number 1. Sure, his costume looks like shit, but that's definitely on purpose because let's be honest, he's pretty much only there for comic relief for now. And yeah, he's really funny most of the time, but that's not all he is. The CGI for his powers look pretty good, albeit it's goofy at times, but I think again that's on purpose and it doesn't bother me at all. I think it looks pretty cool. And I also think that Hartley Sawyer is a pretty good actor. There's one scene that he had with Barry when they were arguing about something. There was an argument in episode 5, and it was a great scene. It really showed his acting ability, and I just in general really enjoy watching him in action, and also when he's not in action, when he's just standing around Star Labs, because he's really funny. He's also definitely the new superhero that I'm most excited to see more of, and to see what his new costume looks like. Hopefully it's purple, to add some color to Team Flash, because I think it's sorely missing some color. Like, you got red, you got more red, you got a little bit of blue, but you gotta add some color, and I think purple will be a pretty nice color to add because it's either purple or orange. or red. And I think out of those three, I would pick purple. But who is your favorite new Arrowverse superhero? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.